So I saw the movie Elemental from Disney and Pixar, which we see a city where the people are living elements based off the four known elements: fire, water, earth, and wind, in which is actually looks beautiful, which the character Ember, a fire elemental, is actually met with Wade, a water elemental, knowing that elements don't mix. So we knew this is a great movie for everyone. So here is the movie review right now. So the movie begins with Barry and Cinder Lumen, two fire elementals who actually immigrated to Element City by ship, which they've actually met. And of course, we see how they face with early struggles as they met with xenophobic views about fire by other elements, which they actually have their attitudes viewed by everyone, which of course what they actually have, in which of what they actually become. Just like before, the elements of earth, wind, water, and fire, in which they knew what they actually hate them for, who's actually voiced by Ronnie Descartes and Sheila Omi, which we see how they created their own place in the city after the birth of Amber, who is voiced by Leah Lewis, the singer, which they've actually grown, adapt to their roles as owners in the convenience shop, which became a fireplace, in which it actually based off of fire-based items and food, which of course there actually are fire elementals. As time has grown on, we see Ember grow into the role in the shop, which he done it with her father Bernie, which her dreams to take over once her father retired. But she needs to contain her temper, which causing her to explode as well. However, one day, Bernie allowed Amber to control the shop, by which it became a little too much to control by herself and decided to rush away to the basement to actually avoid losing her temper in front of the customers, which her rage caused a broken water pipe to flood the basement, and also accidentally summoned Wade Whipple, the health inspector, who's voiced by Mendo Du Arnie, which we knew how he first met Amber. So now he's threatened to shut down the store due to the faulty piping. So now Amber tried to ask Wade not to actually report her family to to his employer, Gail Comolis, which actually an air elemental, knowing of what his boss is going to do. But he actually escaped. So a chase actually goes on, knowing how Ember has gone outside of the fire district. Of course, there is districts of the Element City. So he catch up to him in City Hall, knowing of how there's going to be violations to actually happen, by which we see how Wade is going to try to convince an overgrown Earth element bureaucrat, Vern Grouchwood, which, judging by his name, actually is Grouchy, who was voiced by Joe Pira, which, of course, knowing how they won't report her, but we see how Ember accidentally lose her temper and explode. So now they decided they actually have a walk. And with that, we see Ember growing different colors by touching the mineral crystals. And Wade actually splashed into the water. So we knew how we see Ember and Wade go to the Cyclone College, Stadium, which they have at a sport, where they found Gale, who was actually voiced by Wendy Maglinda Convoy, who actually playing the sport, which we see her telling Ember they can actually they will not shut down the shop if they fix the hole in the dam at Firetown, which we knew how Wade attempts to cheer Lloyd's to actually invite to actually allow the Windbreakers to win the air games, which is actually common for the air elementals to actually play the sport. And because of the time they spend together, they begin falling in love. But there is a rule which actually is common in Element City, which elements do not mix. Which, of course, fire don't mix with water because they evaporate, plus the fire will put out. And fire would burn earth, and air would definitely dry out the water and blow away the fire. And wood would actually soak up the water. However, we see Wade invite Ember to meet his family, which live in a luxurious apartment building that is flowing with water everywhere, which Ember tries to actually enter but can't. Which he met the family, which of course the children, Marco and Polo, a common water sport, but we see how they made it back to the fire town to repair the crack on the dam, which they able to patch it up. In return, not only Gale allow the shop to open, but allow Ember to go underwater to find her favorite flower, which earlier she actually met up with Clyde, a young Earth elemental who's voiced by Mason Riv Middenberg, which tried to ask her out to the festival. But we knew how we see how Wade is actually using a bubble where we knew she was happy to see her favorite flower, but is about to pop, allowing Wade to escape. But we see how they share a romantic dance where they finally touch hands and they made it back to the the fireplace, we knew how Amber is about to take reign of her father's shop, but Wade show up to tell her that he loved her, but knowing how she doesn't want to disappoint her father, we knew how she rejected him because of the fact that her father decided not to retire after finding the pipe been faulty, in knowing how she falls in love. So we knew how he has to test him by eating fire food, which caused him to scream and using a water bubble to let his scream out. But knowing this, she loses her temper again, this time accidentally breaking the glass to cover the crack on the dam. But we knew how she tried to find Wade in saving the blue flame, their most prized possession in the family for generations. So they actually are trapped in the room, causing Wade to be evaporated by the flame, which saved the blue flame, which, thinking that he is dead, we knew how Ember told her father she doesn't want to run the shop, knowing of how it's not her dream. However, Bernie told her that she was their dream, and remembering how the game that she played with Wade's family, she managed to bring him back to life by giving him more water and finally confessing her love to him, which shared a romantic kiss. And months later, after the entire incident happens, Wade and Amber had decided to head out to a place where Amber can study glassmaking to actually be free of her own choices and say goodbye to their families and friends, which the movie actually ends with a amazing end credits. Now, this is actually a great movie. Not actually great, but it really is a good movie, despite of having mixed reviews by the critics, which is actually really amazing to see living elements as residents in a city full of elementals. And this actually go off by saying that this is a really good movie. Despite of me seeing two movies in one, of course, The Flash and this movie as well. So I really cannot wait to see what else Disney have in store, like the remake of The Haunted Mansion and the new animated movie Wish. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment what you think about the movie review. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and my Facebook page and Twitch. Until then, this is Anime Guy 300 here saying signing out. Laters and be safe.